The war.
Top secret military operation in Iran, codenamed Epic Fury. An American submarine just sank an Iranian warship, the first time the U.S. has sunk an enemy ship using a torpedo since World War II. It's being described with two words: quiet death.
A stunning moment as a U.S. hunter-killer sub sinks an Iranian warship. A huge explosion lifts the frigate out of the water, sinking the vessel in mere minutes. Remarkably, the attack happened 2,500 miles from Iran in the Indian Ocean, just south of Sri Lanka. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced the sinking today.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death.
A Russian liquefied natural gas LNG carrier, the Arctic Medegas, has sunk in the central Mediterranean between Libya and Malta after a sudden explosion triggered a massive blaze on board, Libya's Ports and Maritime Transport Authority said. They added that all 30 crew members were rescued in nearby Libyan waters. Libya's Ports and Maritime Transport Authority said Arctic Medegas tanker had experienced sudden explosions followed by a massive fire, which ultimately led to the tanker's complete sinking north of the Libyan coast. There have been no immediate reports of casualties among the crew. According to local reports, Russia's transport ministry later accused Ukraine of launching a naval drone attack against the tanker from the Libyan coast, claiming that the Arctic Medegas was struck by uncrewed surface vessels, but Kiev has not publicly commented on the allegation.
The giant Russian liquefied natural gas tanker Arctic Medegas has caught fire in the Mediterranean Sea. According to some reports, it was struck by an unmanned boat. Whether this is related to Iran or Ukraine, the consequences for Russia's military actions will be very serious. A representative of the Greek company Dioplos Group, which specializes in maritime safety and risk management, confirmed the fire to journalists. According to vessel tracking data, on February 18th, the Arctic Medegas took on a cargo of LNG from the floating storage unit SOM, then rounded the UK and Spain and entered the Mediterranean Sea. On the evening of March 2nd, the vessel ceased transmitting as it exited Malta's exclusive economic zone.
Iran makes Saudi Arabia pay for its secret betrayal in pushing the U.S. toward war by striking at the heart of Riyadh's economy. The attack targets MBS's vital oil revenues as Iran avenges the killing of Supreme Leader Khamenei with precision and resolve. Did MBS secretly tell Trump to bomb Iran, but now faces the full force of Iranian wrath through bold retaliatory action? Iranian drones strike Saudi Arabia's Ras Tanura hub in a major escalation, disrupting a cornerstone of global energy flows. One of the world's largest oil terminals is thrown into turmoil, exposing vulnerabilities in Gulf infrastructure amid the conflict. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, Iranian drones have struck the Aramco oil refinery in Saudi Arabia, highlighting Tehran's determined response to recent aggressions against its sovereignty. Ras Tanura stands as one of the world's largest oil export terminals and serves as a vital artery for global crude supply, making it a strategic target in the unfolding conflict. The attack has heightened fears that the war is spilling directly into critical Gulf energy infrastructure, disrupting a key pillar of the regional economy. State energy giant Aramco temporarily shut down operations at the facility following the drone strike, as reported by Reuters, to assess damage and ensure safety. This strike unfolds amid extreme volatility in oil markets driven by Iran's widening retaliation, underscoring the broader consequences of US-led provocations. The confrontation has led to a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, sharply driving up oil prices globally and affecting economies far beyond the region. Brent crude climbed toward $80 per barrel in early trading, reflecting mounting concerns over supply disruptions from the escalating hostilities. Security threats and insurance suspensions have slowed tanker traffic through the narrow passage, complicating maritime routes in this vital waterway. The Strait of Hormuz remains a key choke point near Iran that carries nearly 1/5 of global oil supplies, amplifying the impact of any interference. Riyadh condemned the Iranian attacks as cowardly and claimed the U.S. did not use Saudi airspace to launch its strikes against Iran, expressing frustration over the asymmetry. However, an earlier Washington Post report claimed Israel was not the only nation pushing for strikes on Iran, revealing broader regional pressures. Saudi Arabia, led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, also reportedly pressured the Trump administration to take military action against Tehran amid stalled diplomacy. Saudi and Israeli lobbying intensified as talks with Tehran collapsed over unreasonable American demands, prioritizing confrontation over peaceful resolution. Publicly, Riyadh called for diplomacy to de-escalate, but privately, MBS urged Trump to hit Iran hard, according to detailed reports on covert influences. However, as Iran lit up Gulf skies with its precise strikes, Riyadh fumed over the limited scale of U.S. military response, per sources close to the matter. These developments were reported by Middle East Eye on March 1, citing two Gulf Arab sources familiar with the high-level discussions. Instead of pushing for further escalation, Riyadh warned its Gulf allies not to provoke Tehran anymore, signaling a pragmatic shift in strategy. MBS conveyed this call for restraint directly to leaders in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE, as detailed by Middle East Eye. Notably, MBS's appeal for caution coincided with oil prices recording a surge of up to 13%, illustrating the economic stakes in the volatile Gulf dynamics.
Like blockade of Strait of Hormuz by Iran has hit oil markets badly. UK has increased oil prices by 94%.
U.S. President Donald Trump went all out to mock Iran, calling the West Asian nation loser of the Middle East, after Tehran apologized to its Gulf neighbors and vowed not to strike them unless hit first.
U.S. President Donald Trump was quick to capitalize on the moment, after Iran apologized to its Gulf neighbors for relentless strikes in the ongoing war. In a statement on Truth Social, the 79-year-old said, "Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East but a loser." The Republican claimed that Iran's apology came only because of the constant strikes by the U.S. and its ally Israel in the ongoing war. He further said that this is the first time that Iran has ever lost, in thousands of years, to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. Like Pakistan's position is pitiable. It officially stands with Iran. But it has an agreement to defend Saudi Arabia, which is being attacked by Iran for siding with Israel. Nothing matters to Pakistan.
नमक हराम हो तुम मुक्कार हो तुम दुश्मन के वजीफा खार हो तुम नमक हराम हो तुम गद्दार हो तुम गैरों के सहूलतकार हो तुम चुन चुन के हमारे लोगों को दुश्मन के हवाले तुमने किया बेचा कौम की बेटी को गैरत का सौदा तुमने किया तुम बुश के आगे लेट गए और उसको सजदा तुमने किया नमक हराम हो तुम गद्दार हो तुम दुश्मन के सहूलतकार हो तुम अमरीका के यार हो तुम दलाल हो तुम फिनकार हो तुम नमक हराम हो तुम गद्दार हो तुम इब्लिस के रिश्तेदार हो तुम अमरीका के ऑर्डर पर या तुमने आग लगाई थी और मेरे लहू के छेंटों से वो तुमने प्यास बुझाई थी हाँ पीठ पे तुमने वार किया और तुमने छरी चलाई थी नमक हराम हो तुम गद्दार हो तुम इग़्यार के पहरेदार हो तुम बदनाम हो बद किरदार हो तुम जुल्मत की पैदावार हो तुम वार हो तुम, वार हो तुम। नमक हराम हो तुम, गद्दार हो तुम, भारत के जारादार हो तुम। दुश्मन को अड्डे तुमने दे और उसको फजाएं दी तुमने। लाहौर कराची पंडी में महफूज पनाहें दी तुमने। ताराज हमारा मुल्क किया, दुश्मन को सलाहें दी तुमने। नमक हराम हो तुम, गद्दार हो तुम, इग़यार के पहरेदार हो तुम। बुश के ट्रम्प ओबामा के बेकीमत ताबेदार हो तुम। बेरहम हो तुम, खूनख्वार हो तुम, इस मिल्त पर तिलवार हो तुम। नमक हराम हो तुम, गद्दार हो तुम, जल्लाद हो आदम खार हो तुम। किसने एक मेहमान की खातिर अपनी हुकूमत वारी थी? किसने चंद डॉलर के लिए दुश्मन से निभाई यारी थी? जी कब आबाद से शमसी से वो किसने की बमबारी थी? नमक हराम हो तुम, गद्दार हो तुम, दुश्मन के वजीफा खार हो तुम।
Pakistan is already juggling an economy on life support, a deepening standoff with India, and a population of over 240 million people to feed. Now, add this to the pile, the country may not have enough wheat. According to a report by the United States Department of Agriculture, Pakistan faces a wheat shortfall of between 2 and 2.2 million tons this year. For a nation where wheat flour is the staple food, the thing that goes into almost every meal, every day, that is not a small number. How did it get here? A few converging disasters. Start with water. In 2025, India suspended aspects of the Indus Water Treaty following the Pahalgam terror attack that disrupted data sharing on river levels, affecting Pakistan's ability to manage critical reservoirs like Tarbela and Mangla. Water flow in the Indus system dropped by an estimated 20%. Storage capacity, roughly 30 days. Punjab's irrigation networks, the backbone of Pakistani agriculture, came under serious strain. Then the rain didn't come. Pakistan's meteorological department recorded rainfall nearly 40% below average in early 2025. The result, the area under wheat cultivation dropped from 10.37 million hectares to just 9.1 million. Less water, less land, less wheat. Add in the government's delay in announcing a crop support price for farmers, and many simply chose not to sow. By late February 2026, a 10 kilogram bag of flour in Islamabad costs around 890 to 900 rupees. In some markets, premium flour hits 200 rupees per kilogram, and prices may not be done climbing. Now layer in the geopolitics, and this is where it gets alarming. On February 26th, Pakistan's defense minister declared open war with Afghanistan as Pakistani airstrikes hit Kabul, Kandahar and Paktia. The two neighbors have been trading fire since February 21st after Pakistan launched Operation Ghazib-ul-Haq, Righteous Fury, targeting Taliban and TTP militant camps across the border. These clashes are happening right along the agricultural heartlands of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Farmers don't sow fields under artillery fire. And to Pakistan's southwest, the Baloch Liberation Army launched what it called Operation Herof 2.0 at the end of January. Coordinated attacks across multiple districts in Balochistan, hitting schools, hospitals, banks and security installations simultaneously. Balochistan sits at the center of Pakistan's farming and resource economy. That insurgency is not cooling down. Pakistan is not facing one crisis. It's facing several all at once, all feeding into each other. The wheat shortage is the symptom. The instability is the disease. And right now, there's no easy cure in sight.
Like is Ali Raza Arafai, the new supreme leader of Iran. Trump has told him not to hit back even after Trump lets loose fury.
ईरान में बड़ा बदलाव, आयतुल्ला अली रजा अराफी को देश का अंतरिम सुप्रीम लीडर बनाया गया है। अली खमेनेई की मौत के बाद अराफी अब अस्थायी रूप से सत्ता संभाल रहे हैं। जब तक असेंबली ऑफ एक्सपर्ट्स नया सुप्रीम लीडर नहीं चुन लेती, तब तक देश की कमान उनके हाथ में रहेगी।
Breaking news from the Middle East coming in right now. Unconfirmed reports are emerging out of Iran regarding senior cleric Ali Reza Arafi, the man who replaced Khamenei in Iran. Claims circulating on social media, including remarks attributed to former US National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, allege that Arafi has been killed in an Israeli strike. However, there is no current independent confirmation from credible international news agencies or Iranian state media to support those claims. Arafi was recently appointed to Iran's interim leadership council following the reported death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in what has been described as a US-Israeli military operation. Iranian state media has announced that Arafi would serve as a jurist member of the three-man council overseeing the country's constitutional transition. That council also includes President Masoud Pezeshkian and Judiciary Chief Ghulam Hussain Mohseni AG.
You are watching Sanglikars Weekly.
Like all newspapers report that USA has allowed India to buy Russian oil. Relief? Are we slaves of USA? Was opposition chorus. But Trump and his crony cheerleaders are reportedly allowing the sun to rise in the east.
क्या भारत को तेल खरीदने के लिए भी दूसरे देश का अप्रूवल चाहिए होगा? ये सवाल है तमिलनाडु के सीएम एमके स्टालिन और पूरी ऑपोजिशन का, जो भारत सरकार को इस मुद्दे पर घेरती नजर आ रही है। पर यहाँ एक सवाल मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ, भारत तो पिछले कई सालों से रशियन ऑयल खरीद रहा है और 2022 से तो हम उनके लार्जेस्ट बायर बने हुए हैं। क्या तब अमेरिका हमें रशियन ऑयल खरीदने के लिए अप्रूवल दे रहा था? नहीं ना। सच ये है कि भारत को रशियन ऑयल खरीदने के लिए कोई अप्रूवल की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन जब अमेरिका कहता है कि वो भारत को अलाउ कर रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब है कि वो रशिया पर लगे सैंक्शंस के अगेंस्ट हमें वेवर या छूट दे रहे हैं। इससे हो ये रहा है कि अमेरिका उनके बैंक्स, शिपिंग कंपनीज, इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज सभी को अलाउ कर रही है कि जब भारत रशिया से ऑयल खरीद रहा है तो वो कंपनीज इस डील में शामिल हो सकती हैं। बाकी आप कमेंट करके बताइए कि जहां पूरी दुनिया वॉर में फंसी हुई है, वहां ऐसे र्यूमर से सरकार को घेर कर हमारा ऑपोजिशन देश को किस दिशा में ले जाना चाहता है।
Like actor Richard Gere has migrated to Spain from Hollywood.
You're moving to Spain. You're leaving.
My wife is Spanish, and is this a problem for anybody out there?
We were going to miss you.
Richard Gere, the Hollywood icon known for legendary roles in Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride, has announced a life-changing decision. He's saying goodbye to Hollywood and moving to Spain with his wife, Alejandra Silva, and their children. In a candid interview on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Gere, 75, shared his excitement about this new chapter. Playfully addressing the audience, he joked, "My wife is Spanish. Is this a problem for anybody out there?" The move, as he puts it, is world news, but rest assured, he's not cutting ties with the US forever. "Of course, I'll be back," he quipped. Gere revealed that Alejandra, whom he married in 2018, has been incredibly supportive during their years in America. Now, it's his turn to reciprocate. "She gave me about 7 years here, so we're going to spend some years in Madrid," he explained. The couple shares 2 young sons, Alexander, 5, and James, 4, and the family is looking forward to immersing themselves in Alejandra's culture and reconnecting with her extended family. One significant reason for the move? Their children are bilingual, which Gere believes will help them thrive in Spain. He also shared touching memories of Alejandra's grandmother, who played a central role in her family. With her passing 2 years ago, Gere sees his wife stepping into that role. She's already planning Sunday lunches for 35 people, he noted with a smile. For Gere, the move is not just about family, it's an adventure. Speaking to Vanity Fair Spain, he said, "For me, going to Madrid is going to be a great adventure. I've never lived full-time outside the United States, and I think it will be a fascinating experience for our kids." The relocation follows the sale of their Connecticut estate, a stunning property that served as their home for 2 years. Now, the family is set to embrace a slower pace of life in Madrid, surrounded by Alejandra's lifelong friends and culture.
But Richard Gere is far from the first celebrity to step away from Hollywood's spotlight. From Cameron Diaz to Ian Somerhalder, many stars are finding fulfillment outside the bright lights of Tinseltown. For Gere, this move symbolizes love, family, and a chance to give back to his wife after years in his world. As he says, it's called giving back. It's called a relationship. Richard Gere's journey from Hollywood to Madrid proves that even the biggest stars are drawn to what truly matters: family, connection, and a life filled with meaning.
Like George Soros is reportedly arrested and is under house arrest. His son has fled.
Was George Soros arrested by the FBI and is he currently in federal custody in Philadelphia under accusation of election interference? No, that's not true. The Canadian website that ran the story has a track record of publishing hoaxes, and the screenshot of the supposed unsealed court document it offers as proof is photoshopped.
Like U.S. economist Jeff D. Sachs says Trump is pushing the world to World War III. Maybe he's right. Insane Trump and his cronies.
Now, United States and Israel's joint operations have continued across the Western theater, across West Asia. Over the last 5 days, we've seen heated conflict between the two sides. We've seen how weapons have been exchanged, how ballistic missiles have been exchanged, leading to death, and of course an aggravation of the geopolitical tensions between multiple countries. It started off as a conflict between Israel and US on one hand, and Iran on the other. And now we're looking at the specter of this conflict spreading far and wide across the region. The motivations behind this attack. There are voices from the US administration that say that this was done for ensuring a regime change. Then there are voices which say, no, we want to check the nuclear capabilities. Then there are voices which bandy Iran as a sponsor of terror, and then that is cited as a motivation. And then there are some voices that say that we want to support Israel, and that's the reason why we went in. What, in your assessment, is the motivation, or has it not been thought out at all?
There are motivations for Israel and for the United States. Israel is led by Benjamin Netanyahu, who tweeted 2 days ago that this war fulfills his dream of 40 years to overthrow Iran. Netanyahu's objective is to permanently eliminate any state of Palestine and to bring down any governments in West Asia that support Palestine. And he has led wars across Africa and the Middle East for this objective since 1996, including Libya, Sudan, Somalia, Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and now his dream, Iran. In my view, this is a malevolent, absolutely illegal, and dangerous mindset. Rather than having a state of Palestine alongside a state of Israel, which would bring peace to the world, Netanyahu is a maximalist who wants Israel to dominate the region of the Middle East. The United States has shared Israel's objective because the U.S. objective is world control, believe it or not. And Israel serves the purpose of control of the Middle East. We see that the United States has military bases all across the Gulf region, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, in United Arab Emirates, and in many other places. It used to have bases in Iran, but it lost that when the U.S.-backed police state was overthrown in a revolution in 1979. The U.S. had brought in that police state regime in 1953 when the CIA overthrew the Iranian government. So the United States wants control of West Asia, it wants control of the Americas, it wants control of Europe, and Trump in particular wants to control the entire world oil economy.
Like Britney Spears was arrested in California, driving under influence of liquor/drugs. When asked about occupation, she declared it as celebrity.
Now, popular singer Britney Spears was arrested and released hours later in Southern California. According to the Ventura County Sheriff's Office website, Britney Spears was arrested and released a few hours later. Though the charge is not confirmed, reports claim that the singer was arrested over charges of alleged DUI or driving under the influence. The singer was stopped and handcuffed by the California Highway Patrol and was booked in the early hours of Thursday morning and was released a few hours later. Spears is scheduled to appear in Ventura County Superior Court on May 4th. However, this isn't Spears' first run-in with the law. In 2007, Spears faced 4 misdemeanor charges after an alleged hit-and-run with a parked car. However, the charges were dropped after Spears paid the vehicle's owner for damages. Spears, who often hits headlines for her controversial posts on social media, she deleted her Instagram profile soon after. The singer's arrest follows a legal victory earlier this week, and she was granted a restraining order against a Louisiana man who was accused of harassing her since 2013. Now, Spears was born in Mississippi and raised in Louisiana. She was a teen pop phenomenon who became a defining superstar of the 90s and the 2000s. She first rose to fame with the Mickey Mouse Club and later moved to deliver hits like Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, and Toxic, among others. However, Spears became a focus of tabloids in the early 2000s and has been a source of public scrutiny since then.
This is an American preschool. Holi, a pagan Hindu holiday, is now a full school event. Kids throwing colors and celebrating foreign gods. This is Hindutva replacement, happening right in front of us. Flood the schools and overwrite the culture. All part of the plan.
One day after the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs, the fallout continues. Today, Trump announced plans to raise the global tariffs he imposed on Friday to an additional 5%. Willie James Inman has the latest from Washington tonight.
President Trump announced Saturday he will increase the global tariffs his administration imposed on Friday from 10% to the fully allowed and legally tested 15% level. The president's announcement comes one day after the Supreme Court struck down his sweeping tariffs. In a 6-3 decision, justices ruled the president does not have the authority to impose tariffs under the emergency powers law he used to levy taxes on nearly all U.S. trading partners. The president lashed out at the High Court.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. They're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats.
The president also said without evidence that foreign interests could have influenced the court.
It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think.
Trump tariff. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled President Donald Trump's sweeping global tariffs are illegal, leading Customs and Border Protection to stop collecting them from February 24th, that is from today. But the decision does not clarify that an estimated of $175 billion duties they were collected as tariffs and how they will be refunded. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has quickly introduced the new tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. Initially at 10%, but later President Donald Trump raised it to 15% for up to 150 days. Meanwhile, the Senate Democrats are pushing legislation to ensure refunds.
India and Canada agree series of deals as Carney and Modi reset ties in Delhi.
After years of frosty relations, Mark Carney has made up with India.
This is not merely the renewal of a relationship. It is the expansion of a valued partnership.
Next level partnership. The praise laid on thick by both sides, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling Carney a friend, saying he deserves the entire credit for better relations. Compliments backed up with $5.5 billion in commercial deals, the biggest selling $2.6 billion worth of Saskatchewan uranium to Indian nuclear facilities.
All of these agreements under one planet are beginning of a new prosperous relationship that will offer generational opportunities.
Canada and India also signing a new defense dialogue, deals with a country that just 3 years ago, the Canadian government accused of being involved in the murder of Canadian citizen and Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, an issue the Prime Minister's office would not say if Carney brought up with Modi. Mark Carney has not taken questions from reporters while in India, cancelling a scheduled press conference due to his meetings running long with Modi, dispatching the Foreign Affairs Minister in his place, who for the first time distanced herself with a senior government official who told reporters before the trip that India was no longer involved in murders, violence, and extortions in Canada.
In the past, in the recent past, Canada's had a fraught relationship with India. You're looking to change the terms of it. Tell us a bit about Mr. Modi. He's another one of these big figures that is dominating international politics at the moment. You've just spent a couple of days with him. What was your assessment of him?
Well, I mean, look, the guy he's unique, I would say. 25 years, I was telling Glenn Stevens this, 25 years and he has not taken a day off. 25 years straight as either chief minister in Gujarat or prime minister, not one day off. Every weekend he is out, like you, Francois Philippe, every weekend he's out campaigning. He gets 250,000 people at his rallies, you get 25. That's good. That's good. And we're all, it's about matter. But, so first off is just the level of the work that's there. Second thing, he gave me a hack that one follows up, which is, again, just on a personal level, the impressions, which is he's a person who is very, and I've known this from before, but it's interesting just the interaction over time, very focused on delivery, I'll call it to the rural household, but, we would say in Canada, Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde, the person on the street sort of thing. So a huge motivation for the financial reform transformations, the payment systems transformation, UPI and other things, was to get money directly, as you know, directly to individuals without leakage, shall we say, in the system in real time, and to bring people, hundreds of millions of people into the formal economy. And he's very focused on that aspect of delivery. So here he's up at this global level operating, India rising, challenges, but much positive, but a leader who keeps bringing it back down to that level. So there's much to see there.
Like British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer is in a pitiable condition. Not only Trump, but Hegseth too is lambasting him. In UK, 2 senior Labour Party leaders have joined Farage Reform's party.
What is particularly interesting about these men is that Newham became the most popular
council in the country, with an approval rating of 80% by 2018. Extraordinary numbers. They also managed to freeze council tax from 2008 to 2018, which, if you think about that, at a time when central government was giving out less money, is an astonishing achievement. And those of you in the press corps that have heard me say this before, it bears repetition that in some ways our weakness as a party is not having people who have been on the front line, manage budgets, run government at all levels. And today makes a significant step forwards for us in that direction. Sir Robin, who will speak in a moment, will become our London Director of Local Government, and we're looking forward to his experience. And Clive is going to be our mayoral candidate in the contest coming up.
Like British newspaper Guardian has claimed that US troops were told that war in Iran was a divine duty for them. Use of religion for war. Shocking.
We started getting calls from members of the US military that their commanders were gleeful, they were euphoric, they were in full thrall with how great it was, because this was showing as concurrent with their understanding of the book of Revelation, the end times of Christian eschatology, showing that everybody is now serving as an accelerant or lubricant to bring this version of weaponized Jesus back to start the Battle of Armageddon.
Some are just calling it outright Armageddon, but it's in the book, as they will say. So speak to that from the U.S. perspective. Now that it's coming out through military leadership that this is part of the motivation that some are believing in, how does the American public respond to that?
It's shocking to hear these kinds of statements coming from people like Pete Hegseth, and we've had, I believe, over 100 complaints from members of the military saying, what is this nonsense we're being fed about the fact that this is a religious war and we're being asked to fight on the basis of religion. I mean, it ties into what the U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, recently said, where he said he would be fine with this idea of a greater Israel, of Israel expanding its borders to include all of the surrounding countries. I mean, this is insanity that you have these radical Christian Zionists that are fully on board with this expansionist Israeli agenda. And I simply hope that the countries in the region that have long depended on the United States for their security, whether it's Saudi, the Gulf countries that are now being attacked as a result, countries in Europe or Turkey, are reconsidering their reliance on the United States, which is clearly not acting rationally, is clearly pursuing this messianic agenda, and has such a massively powerful and well-resourced military that it really can just wreak total havoc on this region. And to get back to something that we heard earlier about the need to liberate the people of Iran, just to remind people, when the United States starts talking about the need to liberate people, those, we think about Afghanistan and Iraq, or Libya, that those people often end up dead. And so while I very much feel for the plight of people inside Iran and understand their opposition to their tyrannical government, to bomb this country to smithereens and completely destroy it, and then for the United States and Israel to walk away and leave it in utter chaos, this could not only be devastating for the people of Iran, but for the entire region.
Like in Nepal, Balan Shah's RSP is heading for a landslide victory. Ali's party is decimated. Good for us. Ex-rapper Balendra Shah set to become Nepal PM, 6 months after Gen Z protests. Popularly known as Balan, the 35-year-old engineer is expected to be the next PM of Nepal, reflecting a public mood of rejection of established parties. Nepal's Gen Z flips the power switch and tells new bosses to get to fixing. Nepal has delivered a sweeping mandate to the Rashtriya Swatantra Party after months of protests against corruption, unemployment and political impunity. Balendra Shah poised to be PM. Nepal's old traditional parties have been punished, with one former PM KP Sharma Oli on the verge of losing his seat to Shah, and another ex-PM, Prachanda, just managing to win his seat.
Residents of Nepal's capital Kathmandu on Saturday suddenly broke into singing and dancing in the streets. They were celebrating the campaign of Balendra Shah, widely known as Balan. The former rapper and city mayor, the streets turned into a wave of blue, the color of his party's election symbol. Last September, a major youth-led protest swept Nepal. 77 people died in the unrest, with then Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli ultimately forced to step down. Right after the resignation, Shah shared a pointed message with his millions of social media followers. Dear Gen Z, the resignation of your killer has come. Now your generation will have to lead the country. Be prepared. Shah stood down as Kathmandu's mayor in January to contest the election. He joined the centrist party Rashtriya Swatantra and has campaigned across 50 of Nepal's 77 districts. His campaign, however, is anything but conventional. A win could also reshape Nepal's politics, which has long been dominated by a few established parties.
Nepal election results highlights. Bailendra Shah's RSP makes history, registers landmark victory. Through the looking glasses, is Meta big brothering your private moments? Zuckerberg demos new Meta glasses with built-in display.
This is Meta Ray-Ban display. These are glasses with the classic style that you'd expect from Ray-Ban, but they're the first AI glasses with a high-resolution display and a whole new way to interact with them, the Meta Neural Band. The display is large enough to watch a video or read a thread of messages. It appears in one eye, it's slightly off-center so it doesn't block your view, and it disappears after a few seconds when it's not in use so it doesn't distract you. So for the glasses, we're replacing the keyboard, mouse, touchscreen, buttons, dials, with the ability to send signals from your brain with little muscle movements that the neural band will pick up so you can silently control your glasses with barely perceptible movements. The Meta Neural Band is a huge scientific breakthrough.
Intimate footage under stranger's review. An investigation by 2 Swedish newspapers has revealed that Meta Ray-Ban users' most private moments are being reviewed and labeled by thousands of workers in Kenya to train the company's AI. The content reportedly includes people using the toilet, undressing, or engaging in intimate acts, and is sent to a Nairobi-based technology contractor, Sama. Data annotators at Sama then spend long shifts watching, labeling, and categorizing those clips to train the AI to recognize people, objects, and real-world environments. OpenClaw, an autonomous AI agent. OpenClaw is a type of AI assistant that can run on its own continuously, without relying on a human operator to give it instructions. While popular AI tools such as chatbots answer queries and engage in conversations, OpenClaw has been designed to act more like a digital assistant that keeps running 24/7, monitoring tasks and taking actions autonomously. It is described as an autonomous AI agent that has been developed by Peter Steinberger.
OpenClaw has quickly become a talking point in developer communities. China, which is known for switching older technologies and jumping straight to newer ones, is seeing an unprecedented interest in OpenClaw. Recently, Chinese tech giant Tencent hosted a public OpenClaw setup event that attracted participants over 60, including retired aviation engineers and librarians eager to experiment with AI agents. Here, above 60 are retired.
You're probably tired of AI assistants that can only answer questions. You ask them to do something real, book a flight, send an email, update your calendar, and they just give you instructions or tell you to do it yourself. Well, I've been testing something that changes everything. It's called OpenClaw, and it went from 0 to over 100,000 GitHub stars in just a few days. But here's what surprised me most. This isn't just hype. This thing actually works, and that's exactly what has security experts worried.
And finally, I am told stock markets are now adding a caution line for investors. Stock market investments are subject to Trump risks. Read his tweets carefully before investing. Lazy B. March 7, 2026.